Hey guys, Mike here. If you recall, a few weeks ago, I showed the new motor 8050 719 kV outrunner that I picked up for the Clark Spitfire, and I said that I'd ordered an ESC for it. I'm going to show that to you now. I actually got it a couple of weeks ago now. I'm just showing it to you. So hang on. This is a 400 amp ESC, and it is pretty big and kind of heavy. Which, yeah, I don't care. I mean, this is going to be a 55, 60 pound plane, and I'm going to need nose weight, but I want to show this to you in my hand. I mean, look, I'm not a big guy, but still, this thing fills my hand. This is a FLIER, FLIER, as you see there, from FLIERmodel.com. I ordered it direct from China. It says car on there, car 400 amp, LiPo 4 to 22S, opto. I contacted them before I ordered, and I said, is there a difference between the car ESCs and the aircraft ESCs? And they said, well, no, the only difference was that they put two fans on the big ESC for cars, and they program in reversing. So we went back and forth a little bit, and I asked if I wanted it for an aircraft, could they program it? And they said, of course, right away. So they said, pick what you want and tell us to program it for aircraft. It'll come with a car sticker, but it will be for aircraft. So this has all the firmware loaded for flying, so it won't suddenly go into reverse when I close the throttle. But this is a pretty cool item. It's a big ESC. You can see internally, it has very, very large heat sinks on both ends. I actually hooked it up to a battery to see how the fans would run, and it really moves a lot of air through the openings in the ends of the casing. I'll hook that up in a second. It also comes with a programming box, which I haven't tried to use yet, and a dongle so that you can plug it in. It's got a 4-pin output, and it plugs into this port right here, which is for programming. So these two wires, one for each fan. This is power, one for each fan. This is the goes to the receiver. This will be the control for the ESC, and then that's for programming. It has very large gauge. What is that? 8 gauge? 6 gauge? Let me put my glasses on. Yeah, that's 8 gauge wire. Is it focused? Here we go. A little bit better focus. 8 gauge wire on both ends. I also ordered, I think these are 8 or 10 millimeter gold plugs. Back to the dongle for programming. I tried to download the driver software and I just couldn't. I downloaded a WinZip program to open it, but I still couldn't figure it out. So if any of you guys are better at computers than I am, and I admit I am an absolute clod when it comes to modern technology, reach out and maybe you can walk me through it. I just want to be able to plug in and see that they did in fact put on the aircraft firmware so I don't make any mistakes. It's going in a pretty nice plane and I don't want to screw it up. But let's plug in the fan, see what it does. All right, here we go. So I've plugged in the leads for the fan to just a simple servo driver, and it's connected to a 6.6 volt LIFE 2100 milliamp. The plane won't be running on this. The plane is going to have two 5000 milliamp 6.6 volt LIFE. I fly with FreeSky, and the receiver that I'll be using actually has 2 inputs for batteries. So with XT30 connectors, which are really kind of cool because they're not going to vibrate loose. Not that there's much vibration on electric, but the newer versions of the FreeSky in the Archer series or the TD series, the Tandem series, Tandem is 2.4 and 900. So it has 2 receivers in each receiver. So strong redundancy and really long range. We don't really fly these nice looking aircraft too far away, but it's nice to have that power. In any event, those receivers have 2 power inputs, so you can run 2 batteries, and I believe you can select your output as well when you program the receiver. Very high-tech stuff. It's going to take me a month just to learn how to bind and set up the receiver, but once it's set up, it's going to be pretty cool. All right, so let's turn this on. Here's the switch. Actually, I'll come down here. Nice and quiet. I don't know if the microphone can pick that up, but I'm a good 6 inches away and I could feel the air moving. Wow. It's really moving a lot of air through here. So I'm feeling pretty good about this thing being shut up in the front cowl below the batteries. There'll be some air through there, but this is really going to help. You know, I mean, the setup I'm going to probably end up with is 2816 or something close to that propeller, and I'm only at about 250 amps, and this is a 400 amp ESC. I don't think this thing is even going to get warm. Steve New used to sell these along with his big Outrunners, and they switched to a different brand. I'm not sure why. One of these days I'll reach out and ask him. He's been really, really good. When I bought the I'm sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit today. I only one cup of coffee. When I bought the motor, Steve was good enough to get on the phone and sort of talk me through the setup that I was planning and recommending which motor to go with. First of all, I was just impressed that Steve New would get on the phone with me. I'm sure he's a pretty busy guy. Hobby is only a part of what they do. I think they have a lot of big government contracts like most of these high-end electric companies do these days. But he was very gracious, spent a lot of time with me. I know this time was valuable, so I had my questions prepared. So I think I ended up with a pretty good setup. So this is going to be an 18S setup, which I've never put together before. That's pretty intimidating, but it's going to make a ton of power. Wow, I'm about a foot away, and I'm cold. I'm up in the attic, which is where my workspace is, and I'm in New Jersey, so it's pretty cold right now, and I'm not heated or insulated, and the breeze coming off of this thing is pretty damn chilly. So, all right, let me do more work on the airplane before my girlfriend comes over and takes up the rest of my day with physical activity. Oh, let me show you a couple of other things. Adam turned us on to Camlocs a little while back, and so I ordered some for the Clark Spitfire, and I think I'm also going to use them on the Carf Spitfire. So the Clark Spitfire has pretty thick fiberglass. It's a heavy model. Hang on, let me pull a couple out. All right, here we go. I'm back. So these are Camlocs, and there's different versions. This is the one that this version is called the 2700, and this sits in a countersunk hole that you drill into your panel. And there's another type that sits proud of it with sort of a washer around it that is called the 2600 that you would use for another application. Spitfires had pretty much flush fittings, these fasteners rather. I'm going to hold on one second. All right, you can see that the barrel is the same size, so that the part that the actual screw part sits in is the same size. What's different is the length. The smaller one on the left is a 5, and the one on the right is an 8. And if you happen to pick these up at surplus or something and you're lucky enough to get them cheap, hang on, let me see if I can do this. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to focus. All right, you see right below my fingernail here, from my index finger, there's the number 5. That indicates that this is a 2700-5. And this one here, come on, focus. All right, hopefully you can see that. Right there, about the same spot, it says 8. So this is a 2700-8. They all fit into this part, which is a 212-12. This is the receptacle. I'm not going to put it all together because you saw Adam's video of him putting them together. So the difference is the panel thickness, right? So the Clark Spitfire has about a 1/8 inch wall on the cowling. And I'll show that. Hang on. Okay, here it is mounted in the cowling of the Clark Spitfire. And that's about how it should sit, just about like that. The scale one was very similar. Of course, the screw head wasn't nearly that large. This is, if this was scaled up, it would be, an inch across. But inside is how it sits. I'm going to have to space it out a little bit because this is a -8, and really I could have probably ordered -7, but I'm not going to, spend the money on getting another one. It's just easy enough to 3D print spacers that this will fit in very nicely. Sorry, it's going in and out of focus. All right. Sorry for the cutting in and out. If you guys order these, you need to order the back part, which is this, which is a 212-12. Then you need to order one of these, which is the actual fastener, and you have to determine the length that you want. It goes from -2 up to like -20 or something ridiculous. We wouldn't need that, but you probably shouldn't need more than a -8, which is a range of up to about 1/4 of an inch. And there's you have to search the web. Adam posted a chart that showed you the grip depth. And there's a couple online. You know, if you guys want it, I'll post it up somewhere. And that's how you determine which of the actual fastener bit, the Camloc itself, that you need to order. And the other thing you need to order with this version is this 2600 to 220, I think it is. It's a washer. You see how it's, here we go, with the tabs angled up. You push that over these, and this holds the fastener onto your panel. So when you unscrew this and you release all of your fasteners, these pop out. The screw part pops out. You can see the spring there, but the fastener itself stays fixed to the panel. So you're not going to drop these in the grass, right? Which is crazy because these are, they can be pretty expensive. So I got these at the same place Adam did on eBay. If you guys want, I'll post a link. I bought a box of 100 of these. So, if you guys want these, I'll sell them for like $2 each because they're kind of expensive, but I don't need 100. I need like 20 or 30 tops. If you order these, reach out and, just for the cost of, say $2 each plus postage, I'll mail them out to you in the US. That's kind of it. Oh, the only other thing, let me just show you how much this thing weighs. I know this is running long, but it's the weekend. What else do you have to do? All right. At the beginning, I mentioned that the ESC was pretty heavy, and it kind of is compared to the other stuff we're using. I have a Scorpion, the largest Scorpion they make, a 300 amp 14S Tribunus, the latest version, and it probably only weighs about half a pound or less. This is heavy. This is 586 grams. Let's cycle through. Oh, I just teared it, dummy. Hold on. Oh, if only I was smart instead of beautiful. All right, here we go. That's 1.3 pounds, so 1.29 pounds. 1 pound, 4.7 ounces. 586 kilograms, well, we know that. 0.586 kilograms. And 20.6 ounces? No, that's not right. So a little over, about 1 1/3 pounds, which is not bad because I've got a really long nose on the Spitfire, and with a lot of batteries, I think I hopefully don't need to add any lead. Anyway, guys, 13 minutes is long enough for you guys to hear me drone on, unedited. Have a good day. Have a great weekend. Go up to your shop for a little bit and do something RC, right? It's not going to build itself. Take it easy, brothers.